Will it be a bowl game 2 years in a row for Vanderbilt? We're going to see what that projection looks like before we get to 2025, though. Let's look at some of the projections from the last few years, the last 4 years since we've been doing this. And you can see our projections with Vanderbilt have not been very good. In 2021, projected them to go 4-8. They went 2-10. I guess that one wasn't off too bad. But in 2022, projected to go 2-10. They went 5-7. And then we projected them to go 5-7 in 2023, and they went 2-10. And then last year projected to go 4-8, they went 6-6. So you look at 22 and 23. Again, projected to go 2-10, they go 5-7. Next year projected to go 5-7, they went 2-10. If our projections were flipped those 2 years, they would have been correct. But this is just it's a team that the talent level, they're not going to be up there near the top of the SEC. And so it just comes down to, the experience of the players, the coaching staff, all that. Are they going to put together a team that's going to get some wins, or are they going to be bad and go 2-10 like they've done 2 out of the last 4 years? So that's what we're trying to figure out. But again, this is just a mathematical formula. There is no prediction here in this video. We'll be doing our predictions in a couple of months. But let's get to it. And again, this is the schedule. This is the scale that we use. So if you're wondering, Vanderbilt is a tier 4 team, and it's all based off of our tier rankings. So if they play a tier 4 team, obviously it's going to be a 50-50 game. If they play a tier 5 team, then that goes in the purple. It's a 61 to 70% game. However, if that game's on the road, then it does drop to a 50-50 game. So that's kind of the way this works. And so let's get right to it. Good news for Vanderbilt, you do have some easier games. Charleston Southern, Georgia State, and Utah State. And look, I know that this is Vanderbilt, and I know that they're not guaranteed to beat Group of 5 teams. They lose to Group of 5 teams, fairly often. It's not uncommon to see Vanderbilt lose to a Group of 5 team. But again, this is all based off of our tier system. So there is no prediction here. Vanderbilt is where they are in the tier rankings based off of how they played last year. But again, I do realize last year they lost to Georgia State. So to say that that's a 100% chance for them to win that game, obviously that's crazy. It's not over 80%. If you look at what happened last year. But if you just look at where this team is in our tier rankings, it does turn out to be a game in the green. So again, there is no human element here. It's all based on numbers, but our numbers would say that they have over an 80% chance to win that game. So 3 wins there for Vandy. And then you've got Kentucky. This is a team that's a tier below Vanderbilt. I know that seems crazy, but again, based off of last year and kind of the early projection of these teams, Vanderbilt is a tier above Kentucky, plus that game is at home. So that's why it's in the purple. And then you go to the other side of this, the games where Vanderbilt's going to be a pretty big underdog. And I think Texas, that's the game, you just forget it. They're not beating Texas. I think that's very low percentage chance, 3%, maybe something like that. You're talking about arguably the best team in the SEC this year and having to play that game on the road. So we just don't see Vanderbilt having much of a shot in that one. So that's the one that's going to be really, really tough. But you got some other tough games in there as well. You've got South Carolina, you've got Alabama, you've got Tennessee. These are tier 2 teams. These games are all on the road. These games will be very tough for Vanderbilt. They're going to more than likely be double-digit underdogs in all of these games. So those games are going to be really tough. And then obviously Texas is going to be one you just don't really see them winning that game. And I really don't see them winning any of these 4 games. But you never know. Again, they did beat Alabama last year. So then you go to the games in the yellow, and you've got LSU. So again, this is a team that's a couple tiers above Vanderbilt, but it's at home, so that gives them a chance. It's going to be very tough, but they got a shot. They got a shot to maybe pull off an upset here against LSU, but it's in that 30 to 39% range. And then you've got some 50-50 games. So you've got Virginia Tech, Missouri, and Auburn. These teams, so Auburn and Missouri are tier 3 teams. They are a tier above Vanderbilt, but they're at home for Vandy. So that's why that swings that into that 50-50 range. Then Virginia Tech, that is a true 50-50 game with both teams being in the same tier. So that's one, that really could go either way. But I'm looking at Charleston Southern, Georgia State, Utah State. If they can win those 3 games, if they beat Kentucky, if they are favored there in that one, that gets them to 4 wins. Then you've got Missouri and Auburn. You've got to win both of those. You got to win both of those 50-50 games. That's why I think it could be tough for Vandy to get back to a bowl game. But the odds would say, when you've got all these games in the yellow and the orange, odds would say they're going to pull off an upset somewhere. So even if they don't beat Auburn and Missouri, Odds would say they pull off an upset somewhere, and they do get to a bowl game. So the projection is 6-6. First time they've been projected to get to a bowl game in the last 4 years. I don't have all the numbers from, I've done this for a long time. I don't have the numbers from before that season, but this might be the first time they've ever been projected to go 6-6. I don't know. Maybe there was another year in there, but yeah, projected to go to a bowl game. So that would be very impressive if Vanderbilt is able to do that.